3, 2.
Hi guys, this is Acrylic Painting Monday with Ginger Cook and the captain on board there, John Little, who's in charge of all the video stuff. We got a big shout out to everybody who's joining us for our live show. I love Mondays. I know you do too, and it's always fun to paint something different, new, find some new tips. We're going to talk about horizon lines today and how they pertain to your painting in a landscape. We're going to talk about perspective when it comes to landscapes. So we're going to learn a lot of new things, and we're going to answer some questions. We're going to have a lot of fun. There'll be a drawing from those of you who entered from last week. We'll have a drawing for the Salvador paints and a surprise downloadable lesson. Lots of stuff coming up, so let's get started.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. All right, I've hopped down to the floor, the table.
Well, what you can see is I have a canvas here. It's painted sort of a light blue color. And this is our reference photo, which is a field of daffodils. All right. And what you'll notice is I've done what I call my famous 2-line grid. All right. And this is where you divide the painting in half and like this. You could fold it if you'd hate rulers. Okay. For those of you just picking up a ruler, you want to run from the room. No rulers, no rulers. Okay. It's all right. Just fold it in half. Then what I want you to do is, well, I guess you'd have to use a ruler here, right? Do the line across. Now, what do we notice is that the majority of our flowers are in this section. The ones in front are bigger. Do you see that? And the horizon line, which is where the sky meets the land, is right about here. Okay?
So like yay.
So what we want to do is come above this halfway point like this, and we're going to not do a perfectly straight line. We'll just put in some hills right here like that, okay? We're going to do that. We're going to start that right away. Why I'm kind of sketching this out with a shout out to our moderators who are here. Thanks everybody for coming, and we appreciate it. They come up every week. And who's here, John?
Well, we have Mona, because we changed our clock, so she's been able to join us. And we have Liz too.
Hey, Liz
Steffi.
Hi, Steffi.
Luann.
Hey, Luann.
I'm sure the other one.
I think Judy's probably here. She's been moving in, but I bet she's here.
And Judy's running around as well.
Oh, so hey, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad everybody's come. And this will be fun. And I think you're going to like this a lot. And I thought it was sort of interesting, and I don't want to get into anything political today on our chat, okay? But I did think that the yellow and the blue reminded me of somebody's flag. Just saying, right? Maybe
that's all we're saying.
All right. So we've got this. This is where this kind of grass stuff ends, right? Now you'll notice if we did a line right here in half like that, right? We did a line here. We notice, and then maybe divide it here. We got a tree that's kind of starts right here at this line here, this cross piece, right? Starts right here, kind of goes up on the side, and then it's going to go this way. We got a tree here, and we've got some others, but they're all in here. But we're going to, for the most part, put the sky in and clouds, and we'll put some trees, and then we're going to do the flowers. Now, this is going to be really easy. The paints we're using today are Salvador, and I want to answer the question. Ira wrote us last week, and Ira said, I so enjoyed when you mixed the colors on the canvas and on the palette. And when you do the Salvador, you don't mix the colors. Well, there's a thought.
Because they're mixed.
Because they're already mixed.
They're ready to go.
Even though we have for those of you who don't know, we have a fine art acrylic academy where we go from beginner to very advanced lessons, and we mix the colors, absolutely. But the thing of it is that when you're first starting out, and a lot of our viewers are newbies, $150, $200 worth of professional art paint is expensive, where the Salvador has taken their professional paint, put in these little tiny tubes, and made it on Amazon for under $20, and sometimes as low as $12 when they have it on sale. You can buy a complete kit. And that's why, and they're really good quality paint. And the only thing I always suggest is buy a big tube of golden white, titanium white, professional white. And you are so much better off than buying some of these other people's basic colors, which don't pop.
Oh, that came up when somebody sent in a painting for a personal art coaching. And Ginger nailed it right off the bat. She goes, it looks like student grade paint. And she wrote back to the person and told them, and Lo and behold, that's what she'd been
And
using.
what this lady had done was she was saving her good paint and just thought she'd go ahead and use up the old. If you're going to use up the old paint, just do it as an underpainting. Don't. Your time's worth more than that, okay? And actually, because you have to keep going over it and over it with the colors, you really don't save. So anyway, we'll be giving Salvador Paints it very nicely is giving away the set with the sponge and the palette knife and all the 24 tubes and some brushes.
The kit and caboodle.
And which is kind of way neat, right? So that's what's gonna we'll be doing that, and also for the drawing for next week too, which is really neat. So all right, so here we got our colors, and I'm gonna put my glasses on here up on the head, right? Everybody
Best
knows.
place to put them, boss.
Well, I know it's stretch. I guess if I had $200 or $300, fancy sunglasses and stuff, that's a good way to ruin the, I guess the frames. You kind of stretch them out, but my little dollar reading glasses, we can do it, right?
They get the job done.
So, yeah, I can still see. So awesome. All right. So what I want to do first is just put in this sky. And John's already give me a start because he's got this blue. We've got this sort of pretty light blue. So let's take a little bit of dampen the brush, a little bit of titanium white, a little bit of that same color blue, and let's just put some blue down here. Here we go. Let's just say that there's some sky here. We're going to do all the way down like this. Okay, and then I want to take some white, and what I want to do now is just suggest that there might be some clouds. See, my brush is kind of dirty, so the clouds are more gray than white for now, but that's all right. That's our first layer. And you'll notice I'm taking a wide brush and just kind of making little circles and then maybe twisting it up there like that and shoving up some white. We're going to say we've got some lighter, just suggest we've got some lighter clouds. Now I want something lighter than that, so I'll just maybe do another layer like that. Just very quick like that. Remember think of the word random when you're painting clouds, so that you don't have like Bo Peep clouds are all the same shape. You'll notice that in the, they've got some little higher cloud up here, so we can maybe put that like, there you go. Now remember, it's over wet paint, over wet blue, so it's not going white, is it? Just sort of going in off white. So if I want that to be brighter, I would have to dry that. You understand? I can't keep dumping white on there, and it still wouldn't be as white as I might. But that's a good. Remember, think of water vapor when you're painting clouds. Water vapor, so that you want them to be a little ethereal. Good word, right? Ethereal. Yes. So, all right. What do we got here? All right. So we're gonna if I wanted something a little bit lighter, I could tap it in, because then just using the corner of my brush, I could tap it in, and I could still get that sort of, that bit where the clouds are never just white. They always have some shading to them, lights and darks, and that still would get where my background would show up. Because when we put the trees up, we got that tree coming here, and who knows what we're going to do with it. But right now, I'm just saying that's our sky, okay? Now, I want to take a little bit of this green color and the brush, and probably a little bit of yellow. And I want to come in here like this and just say, here's some green. This is where my green grass is going to grow. This is kind of nice, right? This is a nice color right over the blue. Pretty easy, yeah? Nobody's tripping over this yet, right? Okay, good. So now, the next color I want is a little darker green. And I'm going to go ahead and add some of that and a little bit of yellow with it. And I'm going to say that there's our darker green, because it's got some shades and everything's kind of going this way. Okay. If this was my line right here, my halfway line, it's going to kind of go around like that. What we're doing is just kind of laying in the foundation for our painting. So everybody's kind of cool with that, right? We're sort of laying it in here, how we want to do it. Maybe I'll take a little bit more light green and add some here like that. A little bit more of the dark green, because this is all daffodils down here. Okay. And then when we get into this little section here, we're going back into the light green, little yellow oxide maybe, and I'm going to do up and down brush strokes like that. They've changed the direction. Everything's sort of up and down. And because my brush is dirty, this is what's called painting with a dirty brush. You get kind of all the colors, all the greens you've been playing, plus the gold. Now, see, then there we go. So that gold color really is your yellow oxide color. Some people call it yellow ochre. It's similar. Okay. Okay. So that's all there is to that. And you're going, surely there must be more to that than that. And I'm going, not really. Pretty much it. So we'll do some more, but you're right. There ought to be more. So then how about a little bit more light yellow? Let's just come up here like that. Kind of lighten this up just a bit. Yeah, okay. So just not too much. Just a few little streaks of light, and it goes all the way up to that tree. So when you think about this wasn't that hard, was it? I mean, so far we haven't challenged anybody, I'm sure. Not challenged you yet. So what I want to do is dry this so that when we go back and put in the trees, we have a surface we're not going to be mixing colors on the canvas. Some of you I've noticed, we do personal art coaching, and what I've noticed, probably one of the big things is that people aren't drawing enough. And somebody posted a picture on Facebook today, acrylic painting with Ginger Cook acrylic painting, Ginger Cook Acrylic Painting Club on Facebook, and they looked to me from looking at the picture that they weren't drying enough. They weren't using that hair dryer. They got too big a hurry. Don't get in a big hurry. Okay, dry in between. All right, we're gonna dry now. John is gonna show you something real cool.
I am?
Yeah. Weren't you going to show him the
right.
newsletter or something?
No, I'm going to show Mona's.
Oh, yeah. All right. So watch John. Here we go.
Yeah, watch me. Here I go. We have up here on the screen right now is a personal art coaching example of what Mona sent in is the top left. And after Ginger made a few suggestions, the bottom right is what Miss Mona gave us as a return. And I'm telling you, there's a huge difference in those two. And I think Mona really stepped up to the old plate on that particular one. Maybe the Queen would like to comment on that at all? You're back on.
We're back on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, sometimes it helps to have a second set of eyes. Look at it. Now, the advantage of posting your picture first on Facebook before you give it to me for art coaching is everybody's going to tell you how fabulous it is first. Okay? And that's fine, because sometimes you just need you're fabulous, right? But sometimes you really want some help and you want to know. And then when you post it on Facebook and people say you're fabulous, you know it's true because I just told you.
Yeah, the stamp of approval.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just saying, sometimes that can make a difference.
Yes, it does. So thank you, Mona, for letting us share that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Another fine artwork.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this thinking that this is there's some daffodils here, but it's sort of a boring painting. It's not doing it for me. You know what I mean?
Golf course right now.
Right, yeah, it doesn't do it. What can we do to make this more interesting? And I'm thinking that, maybe one of the things we could do here is I want some white. I want a little bit more white up here on these
the old
clouds.
palette knife's out.
I'm going to get out the palette knife now and just do a few more bits of white on these clouds, just up here where they might peek through. Not everywhere. See, I still have some of that, but I want a little bit more of these clouds in white. Okay, like that. Just I want that to show up. And then what I want is a little bit of this. I want to take some of these golden colors and use my palette knife. And I want to just do some up and down stuff like this. Okay? So I'm just going to kind of scrape up some golds and greens and you don't use very much. You use just the edge of it, okay? Not the whole flat of it. I got a lot of paint on there, but I'm just using the edge part, okay? And I want some greens, I want some golds, and I want some more colors, so let's do that. Okay, a little bit of this green color. And I just thought this was a painting that kind of needed a bit of texture, a little bit of something. and you guys have enjoyed the palette knife stuff we've done. You just have to be aware of the direction that you want your colors, your, let's see, I need a yellow oxide, and I think here you are, here. Okay. There it goes. There you go. See this yellow oxide color in here like that over the greens. And we're suggesting sort of rough grass by doing this, kind of changing it up. Notice I just do this. The grass kind of grows up and down like that, and it kind of sneaks off back in this way too. Gets a little darker back this direction, but it does kind of go up in here like that. So let's take a little bit of this green down to this darker green and do that. We can do that, yeah. Okay, so again, we have a little bit more texture than we had before. And then what you want to do, which is a little different, usually you see me use a fabric cotton rag, and I like a paper towel with palette knife because sometimes, particularly if you're using gels or mediums, kind of goops up your rag. It's paper towels in this case are kind of a little bit more efficient. So I'm going to take some of this light gold color, yellow, and maybe some white. Let's see, what can I mix here? You don't want to over mix your paint. The palette knife works best if it has a few colors in it. If you mix it too much, then it gets a little boring. But we're gonna come back up here. We know we need this a little bit lighter back in here where our tree is going to be. Okay, so we know that that's pretty light right there. Yep. And then what else do we know? Well, we know that there's a little bit of orange with your green. We've got some green coming here like this. And again, we're going to do the up and down thing. Take some of that yellow oxide color, and here you go. There you go. We know we want this green in here. We could just do the darker green too. Up and down like that. And that brush direction makes such a difference, and so does palette knife direction. It makes a real difference. You can sit up here and just change how flat or how steep the angle is of the stroke you're making to get pretty effective with this. All right, so coming up a little closer, we're going to brighten it up just a bit. Okay, there we go. And the rest of this is going to be tulips, or no, daffodils. We're going to get this right.
They can be tulips this week. We'll call them tulips and make pink daffodils.
Okay. So
keep them guessing.
Yeah. All right. So we've kind of laid in the groundwork, because all up in here is going to be, the flowers, and they're going to be going up this way. So what we were trying to do here, if you were wondering, what is she doing? Is what we're doing is we're just laying in some colors in here. We're kind of laying in the foundation of this picture. It's a lot more interesting already. Yes. Now, this has probably had a chance to dry, at least to the touch. Yeah, it's not too bad. So I want to do some interesting trees. So I think what I'm going to do is get out my sponge. And I need a little tiny sponge this time. I don't need a very big one. I'm going to get out a little one. And we're going to put in some trees just using the sponge. Now, we could, this is still wet. I guess we could kind of dry it, and I would recommend you dry it before you get too crazy.
I would dry it, my queenness.
Shall we dry it? Let's just take a minute and dry that, because I think, let's just do that for now. All right, John, you got something else you can show people while we dry things?
Hold on a second. Let me see if it fires up.
He's thinking about it, right?
Un momento, por favor.
So while he's finding something to dry, here's another thing. Here's another tip on landscapes. The colors get brighter as they come forward. If you're driving in your car, you'll notice that even if it's green or yellow or whatever, way in the distance, it's not going to be as bright. Now, what grays, like a light yellow, would be purple because it's opposite on the color wheel. And, red, grays, green. But remember that your eye will go, it's just the way it works. Your landscape may be perfect, but if you don't get the color balance, it's going to look odd. And that means the brighter colors in front, farther they are away, the grayer they get. Yes and yes?
Okay. Let me show you now is our website. Oh, I want to show you the, this is acrylic painting with gingercook.com. This is our main website. And we have been sending out what's called the Gazette on a weekly basis. The Gab will be coming out every month, once a month right now. We're working on the current issue, the next issue. So the Gazette is also what we email out to you right before the show. So to take a look at the latest edition, they're in sorted by date with the newest one here. And this is the one we sent out for tonight's show. And in here, you'll find all the great information we have. Again, this is what we send out in an email. And a lot of you have not signed up for the emails or you're not getting them. If you're not getting them, do check to make sure they're not going to your spammy folder. So this is our latest Gazette. This is what it looks like in your email. If you're on a phone, it's all nicely formatted for the phone. Back up to the top. Let me take you back to the home page so you know where to sign up for the Gazette is down at the bottom. Right there. Just scroll all the way to the bottom and sign up forms right there to make sure you get the latest news from Ginger and John. John. There you go, Queenie, you're back.
And be sure to mention it's free.
It's free. There, I mentioned it.
Did you? Good.
Well, you did.
I just put out some more colors. All right, so I'm going to take my little sponge, and I want some orange, and I want some kind of red, and maybe a little yellow, maybe a little.
So you're painting brown. Your sponge.
I'm just dabbing it on here. This is the palette knife that comes with that kit too. Is that neat? All right, so now we're gonna kind of hold it like this. Let me just do this since we have dried it. Hang on a second. There we go. Yeah, let's try the edge there. Let's just do this.
Well, yeah.
What? Never mind.
You had orange that you were about to paint on.
I saw it. It was way at the bottom, but it's okay. I know it's a panics, John. So, okay. So now let's.
Oh, hold it. We just lost signal. Hold it. They can look at that one while I go reset signals.
What's all the signal or just some signal?
Just the camera that we're using, the overhead camera.
The overhead camera has.
You got the side ones working. You do a little bit.
Oh, so this is the palette we've got working.
No, the one overhead.
So what is working?
The one on the side is working. We can see you if you don't move from where you are. You can start.
I can start. Okay. I just thought we'd gone dead here. All right. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm just gonna sort of tap in some suggested trees. They're not a hedge, so they're not in a row. Yes and yes. Yes. See how that's working there? Now, as we get closer to this tree, it's a little bit, the big tree, in other words, it's a little bit. Now, this is nice because it allows birds to fly through your trees. That's one of the things you want to have happen. And yet, see if I got this up too high. I don't think so. Yeah, look at that. So I think I might go up a little higher with this one. See? There you go. Look at that. How clever is that? You're going way clever, Ginger. Yes and yes, right? So now you've got some trees that you didn't have to think too much about, right? Yeah, yes and yes. And we'll just take that paper and put it out of the way because it's all yucky. And then here's your sponge. And there really isn't anything else to do with that except maybe, it's just maybe a little bit right here. There you go. All right, so there's some trees. And you'll notice that in the picture, there's this big tree in here, and we want more sky. We're just, we're doing our own editing. The photographer's pretty much stuck with what's there, but we're going to do our own editing. So now I'm going to take a paintbrush, and I want some dark brown paint. So that would be burnt umber, maybe a little bit of, just probably burnt umber. And I want to start here with I want to put this big tree in right here, like this. It was a pretty big tree. And I'm going to say he's coming down here like that. And he has a very nice trunk, a big, got some branches coming off into here like that. Okay. And here he is. There's our tree. So, not totally inspiring, but, we got a tree there. And then, but we still have to do stuff with it. And then we know that there's another tree right here. Maybe we'll just use the angle brush here like that. Say, here's another tree. Okay. And, kind of like that. About the tree rules, the trees tend to be darker as they, are rather thinner as they go up. And I think we have another one right here. I don't know that I want to do that one. I think the jury's out on whether I want this one in here. He would start right about here. We'll see, because we can put, when this dries a little bit, we can suggest a few tree trunks in those with a small brush. So far we're good, yeah? I didn't want to get this too complicated because I know it probably seems pretty complicated. I don't think it is. So far I don't think I've lost you, yeah? So now when you're doing something like this, one of the things about tree bark and stuff is it can be kind of in the green tones. So you can take this painting like this and just putting a bit of this green on the edge here. You can suggest an old tree with bark. Yeah. And maybe a little brown with it. So here's your palette knife tree, but you've sort of got the base of it kind of done in before you, get too far away with that. Here you go. Here's our something a little darker maybe than I want. That was their black. I don't think we want that. Let's put out some more brown. My brown handy. Maybe somewhere. Got some dark brown. But here's some more burnt sienna, which we definitely need. Here we go. Let's just do that. Because I didn't really want that black on there. So we'll just plop some burnt sienna on that tree. There we go. There. Okay. You can use your palette knife to kind of scrape a little bit too. Okay, so far so good. So then, everybody says, well, then, palette knives always confuse me because you think that they're difficult. But sometimes you can just take a palette knife with a very thin edge and you can just, let's see, flatten it, test it on something, right? I'm sure you have some paint on there. Do a quick test. See, that test wouldn't have worked. It has to be very flat. You're talking about just putting it on the edge, and it gets just, don't do it straight up, just slightly turn it. We're just going to suggest some trees back here. And there. All right, so we got a few little trees back there. We're not saying too much about those. We may put a couple others in with the brush later, but right now we're pretty happy with that. And I really like that green stuff on the tree trunk. So I might do a little bit more there. See, just add a little bit of texture or something to that tree. So now you're seeing what, then this is all dry. So now this it gets kind of fun here. We can do a lot of this with a palette knife, and you know, and do what you can with that, because that can be very entertaining. I know I want something light right in there, and so I'm going to just take a little of that yellow and light green, and I got right in here. I want something lighter, right? So you see how I'm just putting that in over it's dry a little bit. So I can add a little bit more to there like that. And I would take a brush instead. Someone says, well, when do you use a brush? Well, let's just take a brush in here. I know I want this to be kind of going back in here next to this tree. So let's see. I don't know why I even have that brush. I'm throwing that one away. I want an angle brush there. So here we go. A little bit of, I want some light, something pretty light back behind here. Let's try some light yellow. Right next to this tree here like that. We want something light back here. Okay. So now I'm going to, because I've got some palette knife texture, I can take a little of this sort of marigold color, and I can just suggest some marigold and maybe a little orange. So it's kind of two-color thing, and I can use my brush with just kind of in a sideways motion here. I'm going to suggest that there's some small little tulips back here. Daffodils, sorry, I'll get it. Eventually, I will learn the difference between tulips and daffodils. And while I'm doing that, any questions, John?
Nothing that hasn't been addressed, my queenness.
Okay. So I want to remind you guys that are sending in your paintings for personal art coaching that when you do the little attachment paper clippy thingy, attachment-y thingy, when you do that, right, you got to let it load. Some of you
okay, wait. You don't want them to be using the paperclip thingy.
No?
No, you have the words underneath it that says upload file.
But you got to make sure that the file is uploaded. I guess that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, you'll see the progress when you say you're going to upload it. You give it a chance to get there.
Yeah, because it's you know, wherever you live, it's coming from wherever you live up into the cloud, and then back, and then I have to be able to get it somehow in the now someone's going to say, could I use some gels or stuff on this? And you could, you know, because remember that there's not a lot of detail back here. It's just, we're just suggesting the flowers. Yes? We're just suggesting them. We're not saying that there's a lot of detail back there. So, you know, that's all. That's pretty self-explanatory. And I'm just going to, I'm going to take my brush now because I'm kind of looking at my reference photo, and I'm going to just tap in some bushes, some stronger bushes back right in here, right along the horizon line. I don't want the sky going like, I don't want to make it look like it's a cliff or something clear down here. But so I'm going to, right around the horizon line, I'm just going to tap in some different bushes. See? But that's gotten pretty dry here, so that's kind of nice. Yes and yes. And okay, so then the thing is, what I went ahead and did was I actually see if I can find it. I'm looking at my iPad here. I went ahead and there's going to be some daffodils up front. All right, you see in here? The daffodils in the front are going to be more detailed than the ones in the back. So we're going to go ahead and take a small brush and paint in some daffodils with a little more detail now, but still keeping in mind that that they're going to be let's put a little white on the brush here. Keep in mind that as we come forward, now you see yellow only paints over white. So we may have to do a few little white daffodils first over that green. And because they're over white, they're going to be brighter. And so basically what we're saying is, again, we're just suggesting colors. And we're going to sort of this reminds me of the March of the Daffodils or something. So I'm just almost just doing little dots that are touching. And as I come forward, all I need is a few of them in the front to actually represent the daffodils, and the others are just implied. How's that? Kind of a star pattern. And of course, the bigger, the closer they are, the bigger they get. We'll do a little bit of this white paint on some of these. Then we'll come back with yellow. I want to make sure that's titanium. I'm not sure that little pile of white, I think it's titanium, but I'm not positive. So let's just do some new titanium. Okay. All right. So now we've got, they're not polka dots, stars on a flag. A lot of them touch. Okay. You can break them up with green if you've got too many touching. But this is what you got to do.
Debbie would like to know, why did you put the lightest area so far back if the lightest should be forward?
I didn't say the lightest should be forward, Debbie. You misunderstood. I said that the farther things are back, the colors are grayer than if they were forward in a bright green. So it can be a very light green back, but it's got to have a slightly gray tint to it. It won't be as bright a green as the color forward.
It's more of a pastel.
So this is, boy, I'm telling you what, this is so important to understand the difference between a grayed color and a light and a dark color.
Because they're not the same.
Not the same. Good question. Excellent question, Debbie. I think Debbie has won something for that question. Because obviously if she had that question, other people had it too. Debbie, you have just won a downloadable lesson from us.
Oh, Debbie, you lucky dog, you.
Someone else will win one. Debbie has won one. We'll show you what those are in a little bit, what the downloadable lessons are that people are going to be winning, because we'll do another one with the drawing. But Debbie, you've won too, because that's a really good question. Because if you had that question, other people have that question too.
Somebody else had it.
Remember, they get smaller, they go back. Absolutely smaller. And I loved how these daffodils just circled around. All right, so what I want to do now is dry that real quick. And perhaps we could do a drawing, Johnny. You were close to ready for a drawing?
I could be.
Could you? We could do a drawing while we're letting this white. We're going to draw from last week for the Salvador paint kit.
Salvador paint kit, that's the ones coming with the brushes, the spun, the palette. The kit and caboodle, as they say. Let me get that fired up, my queenness.
Okay. All right, and I will start to. So this needs to dry before the yellow can go on, right? And maybe while John's firing that up, we can. This background is dried enough where we can maybe put in a couple more of these trees using this little dagger brush. Okay.
That's a great little brush to have.
Kind of push and lift up on that. Yeah. Okay. So far so good. Yes and yes.
Looking good.
Bring this branch up a little higher here. Okay. And I can't think of anything else I want to do here. I think that's pretty good here, like that. Okay, so far so good. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, so put that brush down. I'll draw it while he shows us. We do the first drawing.
All right, here we are for the first drawing of the Salvador kit. This is last week's YouTube lesson. After the show, you want to come down in the comment area and you're going to be putting in a secret word that we give you. This time it was tulip and Salvador kit. It's always going to be Salvador kit. Salvador can only ship currently to the continental U.S. That's the lower 48, as they say. So don't bother putting Salvador kit if you're not in that area. Now this one here, this one right here, they put a space between it, so that will not be detected. Okay, make sure it's Salvador kit. Upper and lower case does not matter, but you have to do complete word. No, I'm giving you instructions first, boss.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to copy over the link from the show, the really big shoe. Come over here. We already did this. I'm going to paste it in here. We are going to, okay, first off, we have a total of 71 comments. We're going to get rid of the duplicates. We're going to include replies. And we can see right now we still have 71, right? 71. Now we're going to filter for specific, and we do Salvador kit, K-I-T.
Well, people like to know that we're fair, right?
Yep. And there's 42 unique people for the Salvador kit. Down here, I'm going to press the button that says start, and it's going to randomly pick a person out of that 42 list. And that person is Michelle Brandt. You are the winner of the Salvador kit with the whole kit and caboodle. So you have, how long do we give them? X amount of time to call us. You used to contact us on acrylic painting with gingercook.com and say you are a Salvador winner and I need your mailing address. And I'm assuming you are in the continental U.S. All right, boss, you want to do the other one now or come back after?
So let's come back and we'll have some more drawing time. All right.
I figure we might.
So we've got, you can see we've got a little bit of, we've done some, so now we're going to take some bright yellows, right? And we're going to come back over. Now look at the difference in the yellow on the white here as opposed to the, just going over the white. See? That makes such a difference, doesn't it?
It makes them brighter.
Yeah, a little bit of bright yellows here. We've got a little bit of bright. Kind of, it's almost a marigold yellows and bright yellows are not all the same color, but we just want to suggest that. Okay. And then I think this is sort of a happy painting. It's bright colors. Who doesn't like yellow? Though not everybody can wear yellow. That's an interesting color. Not everybody can wear it.
Well, they can wear it, they just may not look good in it.
Well, I guess that's true, isn't it? Just
I mean, you
it
can
depends
actually
on what
wear
we
it,
mean
but...
by. Yeah, that's true, John. You're just so pragmatic.
Well, I like to be factual.
And it's funny it's funny the colors that you could wear. At one age, maybe your skin tones change, your hair color changes, and then you need all new different colors.
Is that your justification for buying new clothes?
Yes, for sure. Okay.
That's what I figured.
So, we're just suggesting that there's groups of flowers here. Now, what we'll come back later to do is just break this up. Right now that some of these are a little bigger than I want, but that doesn't matter because we'll break them up with some green. I think this is one of these paintings where I want it to be fun and fast for you. I don't want you to just be sitting here, back here, you know, struggling over something that you know, you could do easily. And it would just put a little of this yellow back here, just over the dried palette knife, a little bit of this lighter color. There you go. It just suggests the field goes further back, right? Than it does. And they didn't have it in the picture, but I'll tell you what, I'm not sure that I wouldn't want some yellow daffodils coming up on my tree trunk too, since we didn't do a lot of maybe just something like that, just kind of bury the tree a little bit. Okay, so daffodils are generally a couple of different colors. They're kind of an orangey yellow and a light yellow and a yellow, like three really, if you look at them, depending on the you know, the kind. But I would say that now you see you've got some nice bright stuff. Now what I want to do next is I want to imply that there's so where's that light green go? I want to put some I want to break these flowers up with the palette knife. And this is one of the things that's kind of key when you're painting something little like this. You might do it differently than if you were painting it large. So if you were doing this by 16 by 20, I don't know if I would paint it like this.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I probably just wouldn't. This particular technique was meant for a very small painting. So if you're thinking about, oh, I think I'll just do this bigger, probably not the best plan.
It'd be a totally different way you have to paint it for sure.
Yeah, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute, but I'm just going to kind of break up. Maybe I should have used a brush, but just want to break up some of these yellows here, like that. Now let me show you what you do if you were using a brush to do that. Because there's a lot of up and down here like this, so we're just going to kind of break this up.
You're having like little tall grasses and things.
Yeah, they're just peeking out of the tall grass, so we want to show that, right? And it's almost a light here. Just breaking this up all up and down like that. In other words, we're not talking that much about these, but they're here, right? Okay, so I've got some little daffodils back there. Got some bigger ones here. And I've got some lighter stems now. The leaves, they're going to get bigger as they go in front, right? Let's get something darker here like that. There we go. Brighter greens. Let's see. Put some blue with that. Let's put this green. Now, what I'm doing is allowing for some contrast. Now, let's wipe the brush off because it's got too much paint. I want some lighter color on it. There you go. Doesn't have to be white, it could be a light yellow. Very gentle brush strokes, shorter as you go back, right? I'll probably fill in some of those as I go back. Let's see, get out another dark green. And let's see, where's the There's that. This is sort of a blue-green color, and then I got a little dark one somewhere too. Well, don't see it. So, okay. So let's see. Let's just take a little bit of brown and darken up that green. That'll work too. See, and watch the brush direction of this. And then what'll happen is I will dry this and then come back with some more flowers and some more stuff. But I wanted to make sure I had this dry. And I tell you what, this is a silver Bristol-on. What is the name of this? Let's see, so I can read this. MD pointed triangle. It's a triangular brush. But you could use any of the. See, you can use anything. You can put a little water on it too. That'll give you a little bit of elasticity to it. See how so you can really get some nice colors with this, doing that. You can also use it sideways like this. We put a little shadow there where this tree is. Another little shadow where this tree is, right there. Okay. So these are great brushes. People can't have enough brushes. You know, that's one thing I think they wear out. Okay, so then
better ones come along.
Or better ones come along, right? And some of the best finds. Judy sent me a bunch of brushes. One of some of my best finds people have sent me. And you know, because you can, can you use them for a lot of different things? You bet. Come up here and maybe tap in something like that.
It is not a hog brush. It's a Bristol-on.
It's Bristol-on. Yeah, it's not a hog. Oh, please, no hogs.
No hoggies. No
hogs.
piggies here.
No, because that's not a brush you'd want for any of that. See, I can come up here like this and break some of this yellow up now. See, look at that. You've got such control over what you can do with even here, just sideways. You can use a palette knife too, but we did that, so we have the texture. Okay. We definitely have the texture. Here's a design tip. You don't ever want the lines just taking you out of the picture. So even though you want to make sure that we've got stuff going that way. Okay.
Bring the eye back in.
Bring the eye back in. That's exactly right. And can you, now you've got all that texture on this this tree. What could you do with that? Could you sit there and say that there were some can you do something with a brush like this and just suggest that there might be something growing here like that? Yeah, you can. I'm telling you, you've got so much leeway. Let's take some of that out. I'm not sure if I like all of that, but still, you can do little. There, okay. So, all right, I'm going to dry this. We're going to do another drawing. How fun is that? If you have any questions, John can let me know too. And we'll finish off with our big flowers. What do you guys think?
I think that's great, boss. All right, we've got her stifled. Taking over. All right, we're going to go now for the drawing for the giveaway. What are we giving away this time, you might ask? That's a fair question. It's going to be a downloadable, and this month's downloadable is getting there. It's at the bottom. It's our springtime flowers in a basket. This particular tutorial. Right there. Can I get to it? No, I'm not logged in. Sorry. There's that one there, though. That's a lesson, the springtime flowers in a basket. The original was by Mr. Monet. So, again, the same things apply. And we can use the same people we've got. We're going to put in hashtag tulips. Tulips, I think it's how you spell it. And we had 48 people look for that. 50. All right, and here we go. And the winner of the downloadable lesson is, drum roll please, Kathy Bunch. So Kathy Bunch, you have X amount of time to contact us with the contact form on acrylicpaintingwithgingercook.com. There you go, boss.
Okay, so I'm going to put in 3 large daffodils in here, larger ones. I'm going to use a little white to do them first, and I'm going to start with the petals, like a star. Okay. Okay. Okay, we'll start with that. I've just got a little brush here. Do another one here like this. I have a smaller brush than that. I think I'm going to try it.
Hey, we'd like to thank a couple of folks that have sent in some donations through PayPal. That would be Sharon, Catherine, Sally, and Deborah.
Oh, wow.
Thank each and every one of you for the donations that came in through the PayPal system.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. That is awesome.
We'll keep tallying up for the quarterly drawing that will be happening in, I don't remember when, a quarter from now. Let's see, June? I don't remember. I think my newsletter says. I always go back to my newsletter myself so I know what I say to people. No, it wasn't in this issue. Previous one. And that's the beauty. Go to the blogs, go to the cassette, and go to a previous one. You have some great information in there. A lot of them, we have one that somebody said, what, I did a 30, I'm going to do a 30 by 40. What size should I do first? And we suggest going smaller than going big. So on one of the issues had that particular, a little chart that had it all broken down for you.
Okay, so we got to start. Okay, so there's
start.
our first ones. Now, people always say, you know, you guys have so many brushes. What do you do with them all? Sometimes you can do, let's see if I have that brush here. And, oh, this is fun. I wonder if this will work. I was going to use a fan brush, but I wonder if this will work. Oh, it does. Look at that.
Oh, as a friendly reminder, any of you folks that are participating in our first challenge of the year, tomorrow is the last day to get them entered.
This is a funny little palette knife with like little
feet, like froggy feet.
Little feet, like little froggy feet. Never used it. It's sort of fun though, right?
You can plop in a whole herd of flowers.
I was looking at this going, what on earth am I going to do with this?
I think you just found a perfect use for it.
Yeah, I think so too, don't you? And there we go. So just, oh yeah, that did it, didn't it? Okay, so then you're going, oh gosh, Ginger, I can't believe it. Well, you could do little dots too with your brush. We had it, so we had to look, right? So here's the lighter petals, kind of not quite, kind of a light yellow, right? Salvador has all those colors in there, these pale yellows. Let's see how I'm going over that.
We'd like to also thank Sally. If you didn't hear us the first time, Sally sent a donation through the PayPal system. Thank you, Miss Sally.
Oh, thank you very much, Sally. That's awesome. Okay, so some of these colors, you know, they work really well over white because they're what we call translucent colors. And so don't be afraid to have to go back, and if you need to touch up something and put a little white somewhere to, you know, bring a little life to your colors. Now, here's our yellow center. It's kind of cad yellow medium. Some of these may have a little bit of a darker center to them. So, isn't that interesting how that says daffodil, though we
I don't know, it kind of looks like a tulip to me.
does it look like a tulip to you? Yeah, well, it's hard. They get confusing for sure.
Absolutely.
And then yellow are some of those colors that you just want to make a little brighter here. Let's see. I like this orange color, this sort of daffodil, you know, what do they call this color? Marigold.
That's a great color.
So
even though
we'll
these
go
aren't
back. I
marigold.
know I had fun using that little spidery thing, but you can go back with little dots on your brush.
Well, you might want to touch some up.
Like these back here.
Because just put them kind of in a pattern. You got to be careful of doing that. Because all the feet are all lined up, all the toes.
Yeah, and if you look at this, everything's very. I think if I were going to tell you guys one little trick is to consider the word random when you're painting, because it's easy to just keep repeating a pattern like a computer. You know, you think you've got it, and, you know, you're completing this pattern, and you really you want to kind of look out for that. So let's just do a couple of red centers here. There you go, these little closer ones. There you go. So they're just showing up a little bit more, maybe just something on the side here. Put a little this kind of orange red in the front. You don't want to do too much detail.
It's still impressionistic.
Yeah, it's still impressionistic, but you still want to have that nice sort of, you know, see, I think I want that other, what was that nifty brush we had? You know, the triangle brush. Because one of the things you can do and might want to do, you probably want to dry it first, but you want to take advantage of the maybe brighten up something here. Yeah. So that you've got.
Sure looks like spring.
Looks like spring, doesn't it?
What do you think about doing this painting with red roses instead of yellow flowers? Well, it'd definitely be different painting.
Well, I mean, you'd have to Google a field of red roses because they really don't grow in fields like that. So I think it would be kind of, you could do poppies for sure, but maybe not, you know, I mean, they kind of come, it's interesting if you look at the flowers and then you look at the colors in here, these come at a certain time of year, it seems like, you know, it's still fall in some places, right? It's still, guess I could do a little bit more in here like that, and maybe a little bit more on my tree trunk. All right, so we've got that, you know, tree trunk, and then this little area in here, you know what I'm kind of missing, and I don't know where I put it, is my little, the fan brush is a perfect thing for some of this, but I have maybe I'll open that one out of that Salvador kit.
You had one that was in your little rack there on the left.
I did?
The back.
I had? I did?
There's one you had customized.
Oh, yeah. I wonder where that one went. I had customized a fan brush, which I really liked. Basically, what I did was I cut it into lots of funny little pieces. And isn't that funny how you think you have things and then you don't? Well, all right. So we don't have it. So we're going to use the palette because I'll do something a little bit more with that corner, which is a little dead to me still. And then we're, like I say, we're just about done with this. But open a little brighter in the front here. Just something. Remember, we talked about colors being a little bit brighter in the front. And let's see, I want, we could have some blue flowers. Ooh, purple, that'd be pretty, wouldn't it? Purple and yellow are complements. We don't have any purple in this. How is it we have no purple in this painting when purple and yellow are complements?
Hey, we'd like to thank Anna Maria for the donation that came in through PayPal.
Well, that's kind of nice, isn't it?
It's very nice.
A little bit of the purple in here. Not too much, just to suggest it. There, okay. We were missing, that's what we were missing, you guys.
Not anymore.
We were missing a little bit of that purple color in there.
Just a hint of it here and there.
Yeah, just
ties it together.
there. Just something up here in the foreground. Something kind of bright. And notice I've got a perfectly straight line right there. Do you see that? That's what I mean about you got to go back and then do random. So maybe this one will come out. We'll take out this flower. I love that. I'm taking you out, flower. Better watch it. See?
Just you don't behave, out you go.
Small stuff, right? And let's make sure this goes all the way off the canvas, that tree limb. And I wanted to show you this because let me just show you how you would do it differently if you were doing this larger, right? Okay. Here is, I'm going to show you next, our Academy release, back way up, John, for next week, that we're releasing next week. Okay.
That'd be this week.
That'd be this week, yeah. Okay. That'd be this week, you guys.
Which is next week.
Do you see our bunnies? This is called Here Comes the Sun. All right.
Oh, they are so adorable.
Aren't they cute? Yeah, we thought that. Now, let me
Looks like
show
they're in a
you
field of clover.
When I was on our travels, and I take our Salvador paints with us when we travel, and I did a smaller version of this. The first one, I always do smaller to see how I want lights, darks, how I want to do things. So here is the small version of that, you see? And it's really cute, but it's done a little bit differently than the larger one. Because the bigger you get, the more detail, right? See that? Not always true, but often. Okay? So you see the difference between that and you want to back way out again?
You think this is really easy to do, don't you?
It's not easy?
No, but go ahead.
And then here's the larger one, and I want to just, there. See? Maybe you can see it.
So you got the actual fur. Now move that out. Let me zoom in on a bunny so you can see the actual fur.
Yeah.
You spent hours doing the fur.
Yeah, so there you go. That's the trick. When you're
okay, bunny.
I found my I see my brush too that I want for this. So that's that. And then this week we released, and which is really nice. We released
this would be last
from
week.
one of our old D guys. This is I think 12.
9 by 12.
9 by 12 is how to paint copper, and that's in the Academy. That was this week's release.
Copper and brass.
Copper and brass. I mean, it was originally one of our old EGs. To show you how to do that, William Chase did that originally. So I mean, so there's a lot of different ways to paint things. Okay, that's the thing, and you don't have to learn them all. But the more you know, the more versatile you will be as an artist. Okay, like which
that's
is really
what we
important.
Teach so much.
Now here's my other little fan brush. I see it, and I'm gonna I want some light purple, maybe some magenta light there. What do I got here? There, a little bit of blue with that. White, purple. Something lighter.
This is your customized fan brush.
I just wanted something. I wanted something, a little purple flowers growing in here because purple and yellow are complements.
They're buddies.
Okay. And then I can take some of this yellow way back here. Lots of different ways to paint something, friends. And this still needs some light on it, so that still needs some brighter flowers right up in here.
Hey, we'd like to thank Arthur for the donation that came in through PayPal. Nice to have a male voice out there. Thank you, Art.
Thanks, Art, very much. Appreciate it. You know, it's been, I'm wearing my birthday bash shirt from 2019. Arthur, we got to meet him he came on the cruise with us, which was just great. So we thank you very much for hanging out with us. And
someday we'll do that again. How many cookies is a daffodil painting?
This is like a 1 cookie. Guys, don't you think you can do this pretty easy?
No, it's a 2.
You think it's a 2?
It's a 2.
John thinks it's a 2.
That's a 2. The bunnies is a...
I think it was a 4, wasn't it?
I think it was a 4. It's a 4, and that's a 16 by 20.
There you go. So there's our daffodils. And then, you know, those are the kinds of things that you see. And then, look, if that's my quick sketch on how to do this. All right. So then if at a later time I wanted to come back and, you know, do something else, I could. For instance, if I said I need, you know, if I'm looking at this and going, that needs a little light right there, that daffodil needs to be just a bit brighter right there, I can do that. See? So your eye goes forward. You can play with the lights and darks and bring your eye forward or backwards, depending on, well, your eye doesn't actually go backwards, but, you know, maybe I just want to put something dark next to that daffodil so it shows up. See what I mean? So that's the other way. So something's either lighter than or darker than something else. Yes. And so then that's what you're looking at. What's something lighter or darker than something else? And I hope you guys found that to be fun. I will sign it. And next week we'll do something totally different. And I'm not sure what that would be. So I would love it if you would say what you think would be totally different and fun to watch. Because, you know, I always love the input, okay? Very much, and so let me know. And let me know. These are the Posca pens. You have to shake them up a little better than I just did, but I think that's sort of a fun, certainly much more interesting than that. Don't you guys think so?
Oh, once again, you're trying to do better than a photographer.
Yeah, there you go, right?
There's the secret word for next week, daffodils. What do you think? Salvador Kit for those
people even spell it? I could barely spell it.
Well, do spell it how I spelled it, because that's how I'm going to be doing it.
Yeah.
So spell it my way.
Yeah. Okay.
Or take the highway.
Okay, John. All right. Thanks for joining us, you guys. Thanks to Mods for coming.
Thanks, Mods, for coming.
Be sure to sign up for our newsletter. Congratulations to our winners tonight of the Salvador paint kit and the downloadable lesson, and also to our brilliant question of the night.
Ooh.
You know, we had that brilliant question, which was really good.
She's probably already written in.
You know, so she's already written in?
Yeah, she said she was going to, so.
Okay, so.
I haven't looked, so I'm assuming it's there.
So she's written in, and I'm just going to put a few more purple things here. I just wanted some purple flowers there to kind of balance those off. So and we learned a few things about landscapes, horizon lines, whether colors are light and dark. And I'd love to know what you think would be fun to do. And if you learned anything tonight, let me know.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week for another exciting episode of Ginger Paints with Acrylics. What do you think? New title?
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Bye.
Ginger Cook, the queen of color, with a blazing brush at the speed of light, and a blank canvas, and a hearty yes and yes. The queen of color, Ginger Cook, and her sidekick, John Little, teach you to paint with acrylics.